be with them on stage just because he thought they were a better band than we were, which I thought was extraordinary. I got totally, I mean, I got really messed up towards the end of the tour, drug-wise. Something, I think, to do with I was very hurt by like Eric's sort of attitude. So I didn't see anybody or communicate with anybody for 10 weeks after the end of the tour. And when I finally got back to England, the first place I went down to see Stevie, and Stevie told me that, you know, like Eric was off with Delaney and Bonnie and he was getting Traffic back together. And that's when I discovered it was no more, sort of thing.
Ginger Baker's next venture was another ill-fated supergroup, Ginger Baker's Air Force. The Air Force never took off, and he decided on a radical change of scenery.
You know, my marriage was going awfully awry, mainly through my own crazy behaviour. Everything was going awfully wrong, you know, and I was sort of still fighting a losing battle with junk, and I just, Africa sort of called me, and I went.
Another member of the now defunct Ginger Baker's Air Force was Graham Bond. After the Air Force folded, he formed a band with Pete Brown. It was to be short-lived.
Our manager at the time came into a rehearsal one day and he said, "Here, I've just been down the record shop and in the remainders bin I found one of yours, Graham, next to one of yours, Pete." And we thought, oh, that's it, that's the writing on the wall, you know.
Graham Bond, now deeply immersed in the study of magic, was still beset by drug problems.
The last gigs we did were really frightening, actually, when he sort of claimed that somebody had made him the chief magician of the British Isles and claimed that he'd invented feedback and just played noise for the whole night. That was the end of it.
In 1974, R&B pioneer Graham Bond was killed by a tube train at Finsbury Park Station. It is not known whether he took his own life. After the Manfred Mann group split up, Manfred Mann the person formed a band with his original partner, Mike Hugg.
We had a band, a group, which was Manfred Mann Chapter 3, which was an overreaction against the 60s. That, in retrospect, that was the problem. We had too many rules. We weren't going to have a guitar player. We were only going to do our own material. Everything was the opposite. It was just a mirror image of what we did. And so we went down this unbelievable sort of route that was just a little too far that side. But strangely enough, we started making money. Because the deals were better, people were giving us decent advances. It was beginning to get better, even though we'd failed. That's the joke.
His next venture was to be longer-lived, Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
The early part of Earth Band was really difficult, you know, to get work in England and stuff. I mean, we were associated with a period, it wasn't regarded as being too credible and stuff, and there was a kind of snobbery around, and it was very, very difficult. And we played to very small audiences in places, but I was enjoying playing.
Tom McGuinness and Hughie Flint had formed McGuinness Flint in 1970. They had stopped playing regularly when they were invited to start a band with Tom's old colleague, Paul Jones, now a successful actor. In 1979, they went back to their roots and played their first gig as the Blues Band.
My food walk. We'll turn the lights down low. Come on in, I'll show you everything I know.
was a tremendous buzz, and it was a sort of buzz that I didn't know was there anymore in live music. You know, to recapture the sort of feeling that I'd had in, say, the Roosters or the early days of the Man for a Band group, as I did with the blues band, was like a bonus, you know, after being 15 years in the music business.
Come on in, I'll show you everything. I'll show you everything. I'll show you everything I know.
Another blues band reunited for a one-off gig in 1993 when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Cream.
The rehearsals was magic. It was absolute magic. We just sat down and played, and it was so relaxed and so good. It was probably better than Cream ever was. And it was just wonderful to play together. It was like the last gig we'd done was a week ago, not 25, 26 years. In the 60s, you know, I was enjoying playing, but I was also, you know, really, I was a junkie. I got to being a junkie because, you know, I thought, rightly or wrongly, the junk was enhancing my musical ability. Now I'm at a point where I don't need that. I've got the musical ability and the confidence and the, you know, experience and everything else. I don't need that anymore, and I can now play musically how I, you know, how I want to without even having a drink, you know.
John Mayall moved to Los Angeles in 1969. He is still recording and playing.
The blues is a very honest music. You can't fake it. And of course, for me, it's something that's continually exciting. It never grows old, or for me anyway, it's always fresh. I mean, there's always new things you can do with it every day. And it's always a challenge. So it has, the blues has everything in it that I could possibly want. You know, something I'll never get tired of.